Staying with us, let's leave you with this interview. Keep watching.
You've spoken something very critical of the justice on matters IEBC and in the Supreme Court, and justice not being served on various cases. And one is left wondering also, there are other lawyers who feel that the Supreme Court, something is happening, and there is the question on whether yourself and others are looking forward for a friendly bench.
For me, it is very easy. They want to throw out Mother Koome. It's very clear. The same conspirators which brought about the impeachment of the deputy president, the same conspirators are now trying to throw out Justice Koome.
You believe she is competent, but someone somewhere...
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about competence. When, of course, she ruled that time, remember the petition, she made some very
outrageous,
very unfriendly and judicial comments about that. But that is history. We now must look at what is happening, okay? So, personally, I believe that there's a big conspiracy around that. And also, just like there was again about the impeachment of, which is another very historic event. Apart from the Gen Z revolution, the next thing was impeachment of the deputy president, and the other thing was state capture. State capture. State capture. I'm just giving you the synopsis of the main events in 2024, all right? State capture of this country. Look at the SHA and the SHIF, shifting from NHIF to SHA. And then the confusion in the education sector, leading to the pronouncement by Justice Mwita that the whole thing about the funding model is unconstitutional. This has been a disaster government, a disaster year for the country. All right? That's why Kenyans are really hoping, if they wish elections could be brought nearer, to send these guys home.
According to Kenya Kwanza leaders and the government, they insist that they found a mess, and they are trying to steady the ship.
They found a mess, and the mess, they said that they had no money, there was no money in the coffers, and wasn't there a member who went carrying 12 million shillings in Ararambi? Where did he find that money from? Okay? Kenyans are wiser than this, okay? So, for me, the issues, housing levy is what will drive William Ruto home. Any Kenyan who is having a payslip is feeling the pinch.
Do you think
even
President
at this
William Ruto
time
is going to be a one-term president?
Well, that's a different thing. Kenyans will determine. That one, Kenyans are determined to determine. Okay? Yeah. Whether it's going to be one term or not. They are determined to determine. Okay?
They are determined to determine, and we're looking forward to that. But the appointments which is made recently, it is seen also as a game plan for him to plan the 2027 election.
Of course, that is why some of us cannot imagine joining that kind of government.
Have you been approached?
Because William Ruto is basically trying to gather here and there, see whether he can regain. Because imagine a government at 1% credibility rating. 1%. This is the lowest any government since independence has actually enjoyed. So that tells you a lot. So for me, therefore, it is all about 2027. That is what he's doing. And the ones who are joining William Ruto now, I just need to tell them, some are saying we join and then we exit at the right time. You will be judged by Kenyans as one who betrayed them. You will betrayed the young generation, calling for transparency, calling for openness, of course, transparency, and also saying we need a taxation regime which is friendly. We don't want a government that weighs so heavily on its citizens that companies are running away and we are losing jobs. You look at any Kenyan anywhere. I was in Limuru yesterday, and what I saw are people feeling pain written everywhere. In fact, one person ran across I remember him near Limuru shop, akanambia Kalonzo, tusaidie tupeleke hawa jamaa nyumbani kabisa haraka sana. That is the mood. You know, Kenyans are actually angry. And then you end up with a president who is angry, calling people mapepo. Watu wa siasa pesa nane. The time for name calling is over. This is a different country, thanks to the Gen Z.
You don't believe the new appointees and even the appointments which were done on the new CSs from ODM, which is Azimio. You don't believe that they are going to help the government steady the ship? And maybe
what have they done so far? What have they done? One of them had his dues cancelled thanks to the American judicial system, criminal justice system, which found out that this Andane fellow you're trying to give international airport is a criminal. And Ruto seeing that, cancel everything. State capture. Hey, Liz, Kenyans are so clear about what has been happening in 2024. There is nobody who can trust this administration.
And you don't believe the new appointees in the cabinet
will make
any changes? My
advice to them, they will be seen as part and parcel of the oppressive regime. And if you join now, in the hope you can jump out 6 months to an election, my friend, it will be too late.
The impeachment of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is an historic moment in the country, an event in the country, and in the new constitution. And one will want to hear your opinion, whether you think justice was served then.
As a lawyer, I can tell you that. By the way, we took a principal position as Wiper Democratic Movement that we are not party to that whole thing. And Kenyans were saying, kufa driver, kufa makanga. They expected that if you are getting rid of the deputy president, the president should lead by example. All right? Nothing has changed. That's why every day, everywhere, in fact, it's becoming like a national anthem, saying Ruto must go. Somebody should sit and ask themselves, what has gone wrong? In fact, it's almost embarrassing. I told people in one place, please stop shouting so people don't think I'm the one who has incited you to sing that song. This is the lowest a government can sing.
And do you think justice was served by National Assembly and Senate?
That's why I'm saying, I said in Lemuru yesterday, it is of paramount importance that justice should be seen to be served. And justice denied is justice delayed. I'm aware that even the registrar of the Court of Appeal is playing games with the papers of the former deputy president. Instead of now making it easy for him to access justice by way of appeal, they're even denying him. Did we not hear from a Supreme Court judge, Justice Lenaula, who is very well regarded, saying that they even interfered with the filing system, right? The digital approach of filing in the Supreme Court was interfered with in the High Court, all right? Just because of trying to deny one man justice. Let Gachagua have his appeal heard and determined expeditiously, because justice delayed is justice denied. In
the recent past, we've heard also Gachagua speaking of you and the Wiper in what he says. He's looking forward kuunga mkono and kurudisha mkono. Are we likely to see you two work together?
We thank him for those sentiments. I mean, coming from a leader, every leader expects support, right? And we will be looking at all these things as we move into the new year. We have to craft a new coalition for sure. Yes.
And which will be having Gachagua.
We will be looking at all those things. We are in wide-ranging consultations.
And new year, we are likely to see a gigantic alliance, according to your words.
We are going to move in some very specific, clear direction to rescue. Actually, this is going to be a national salvation effort. Yes. The coalition we are going to form will be a national salvation coalition.
National Salvation Coalition.
This country needs salvation.
As you speak of that, other leaders like Martha Karua are leaving Azimio. And in the recent past, we also saw President William Ruto in what people are seeing as a handshake. Where does this leave you as a person?
What do you mean
And
as a
leader.
person?
Yes, as a leader in the Azimio.
Oh, I saw
and
that.
why are you...
I saw something like in fact, I called Raila. We spoke yesterday to wish him Merry Christmas, and he said, "Hey man, I'm seeing the papers are saying the last man standing. There are lots of men and women standing for a cause. Kwanzaa, the youth are standing. I am quite sure I'm not standing alone.
Either way, you are the leader in Azimio, they are seeing standing.
We will be in the team of leaders who are determined to save this country."
Why is it you're holding onto Azimio? And
Sorry?
you're not why is it you're clinching onto Azimio?
Well, we're going to look into that. We are very pragmatic. We'll have to look at whether Azimio is relevant anymore. You mentioned my sister, Mother Karua, my twin sister, okay? You know, I called her, say, are you seeing, she talked of political wildebeest migration. People are moving in some kind of direction. But people need to really stop and take stock.
And that is what you're doing.
Yes.
With the new found relationship, because already we know the relationship between former President Uhuru Kenyatta and not Raila Odinga, but President William Ruto, was not so good, seemingly because of the maandamano and other things. How do you speak of your relationship then with former President Uhuru Kenyatta and the new alliance?
President Kenyatta is my brother. I have a lot of respect for him. And I said in Gatundu that he stands above all this confusion. In fact, I think his wish is his name should not be dragged into this maneno. And my advice to him is, if he can meet William Ruto, there's no harm in him meeting Gachagua as well. Okay? I've been very open about these matters so that he stays there. He stays there. All right? And whoever needs advice, if it is William Ruto, he can go and seek his advice. And I think, as I said, Uhuru was very clear. He told him this country needs strong opposition. This country is reeling under the burden of overtaxation, where our companies in Kenya are migrating. He told it all to him. Okay? Yeah. So that is him. That is Uhuru. And I think his sense is he wants to be left alone, all right? Not be dragged into any mud, okay? But I say, because again, as one of the fathers of the country now, all right, as a immediate former president, he cannot also now shut his eyes. He is listening. As he said in Embu, he's watching the television, he's listening to the radio. Okay.
I know he is your friend. Have you had a conversation
I talked to Uri, he attended, I thank him very much, he attended my daughter's wedding.
Have you had a conversation in regards to Azimio? Because I remember the last interview I had with you, you told me very soon, we're going to have a meeting. Have you had these meetings?
I think Uhuru's view now is we should have a fresh look at the composition and the direction of Azimio. Yeah. And I get the sense he wants to allow a natural progression. Therefore, the de facto leader is here. Thank you.
Do you believe that you've provided the required leadership when it
What
comes to...
do you mean? Kenyans will determine.
I'm asking because...
You know, there are those leads who are saying, tumezoea mambo ya Raila, demonstration, opposition. So far, ask Kenyans, have we provided leadership or not? I personally go to court, which is deeper than demonstrating, and get Adani thrown out of this country. And by the way, we will form, right, a state capture commission. Remember William Ruto had talked about a state capture commission, okay? And then he backpedaled. The real state capture is happening under his administration. We will form that and we'll see it through. Because we want to know who was paid what by Andani in these Ketraco deals. Who was paid what by trying to sell off our strategic infrastructure, like our international airport. How much were they paid? We want to know. We will follow this through. Therefore, a polite way, as a senior lawyer we will follow these things in accordance with the law, because we owe it to the future generations the Gen Zs represent, that we bequeath them a country under the rule of law. Mm-hmm. It's so important, and not a thieving nation. Remember, there was one time a British High Commissioner who famously said, "You have eaten and vomited on our shoes." They are vomiting on each other's shoes.
Mm-hmm. In the current situation, do you think President William Ruto, with the new appointments and now the DP from the east of Mlima, are we likely to see him go back and maybe have a say in the Mlima?
People have no problem with the DP. People have a problem with Ruto. Okay? Anybody who is, because, it gets to a stage where now, and I have heard Kenyans say now, we will be looking at character in the next leadership dispensation. Yeah. So it matters not who is from where or from whatever. The contest will be Ruto and Kalonzo Musyoka.
It will be two horses race.
As of now.
But now...
Others could come on board.
We've seen Omtata.
I don't know. I don't want to commit about it. I think what he did was to set up a team to investigate possibilities.
Will you even consider working?
We will get everybody on board. Mm-hmm. Everybody will come. Because unless they want William Ruto to sail through with a slim majority, but I'm hearing Kenyans saying one touch. That's what Jeremiah Kioni keeps on saying. Yeah.
You've spoken of vaccination of our livestock over and over again.
Yes.
What is the greatest fear and concern over this matter? Because President William Ruto and the Kenya Kwanza government, on the other hand, they keep insisting that it's foot and mouth disease, which they want at least our Kenyan cattle and livestock to be at par with international market.
Well, we're living in a world which is global, and everybody knows about the challenge of climate change. And there are those who wanted to use our animals as a testing ground to see whether emission of methane gas, which by the way is used sometimes to give, if you do that methane gas, you're able to get biogas, yeah? It was a product of methane gas. And there are those who believe that the animals have been contributing to depletion of the ozone layer through that approach. This thing is very scientific, okay? But scientific as it is, and I've heard William Ruto himself say, he's a scientist. So the scientist in him should not be angry with those who want to investigate the truth about this proposed vaccination. Number one, there's no money in the budget. We want to be told who is producing the money to do vaccination in the next few weeks, if it's not in the Kenyan budget. You might find it's an international NGO. Who is behind that NGO? Kenyans want to know, all right? So nobody is averse to having healthy animals, for sure. But Kenyans do not want to end up as a situation where even the quality of our meat, instead of making it fit for export to Saudi Arabia and kwingineko, by the way, I've always held the view that because of the presence of livestock in the northeast, in Wajir and Garissa, Mandera, the international airport, Wajir should be an international airport where we'll be exporting our animals to the Arab world. But this whole thing needs conversation, needs serious public participation. Did we not hear the Veterinary Association itself issue a statement? So it is not a light matter. We will not allow animals to be used as guinea pigs. No.
The problem with Kenya Kwanza...
And remember, there are people who are actually in court elsewhere in the Netherlands because of COVID vaccinations. So Kenyans are sensitive to these things. All they want is full information and concurrence. And everybody I heard one fellow say, I don't own cows or anything. I am a pastoralist.
The problem, you say, it's communication.
Yes, communication, and of course, we want the truth about this sort of thing.
We know very
But not to dismiss and say, kuna mapepo, kuna nini.
How do you speak of President's range in the recent past?
Well, I will advise him. He's still a friend of mine. I advise him. Poor.
He says that he's willing to bring everyone on board. Have you
willing
been
anybody? But I gave you how to bring everybody on board. That was a formula by Raila Odinga.
Have they approached
the
you to
Raila
bring you on
Odinga
board?
formula was call a national convention. Bring everybody there. Have a conversation. Then, in fact, I can tell you for a fact, before the 4 ODM guys went, Raila and I had a discussion at Karen Blixen, where I listened to a conversation, all right? And he was telling William, listen, you take your half cabinet, because they had dissolved the cabinet, okay? Take your half cabinet, let the rest of us now go into a national convention. We give you our nominees. But William Ruto snookered Raila. He did not wait for that convention. He got these people one by one, Joho, Wandai, Oparanya, and who is the other one?
But Raila Odinga was aware.
Of course he was aware.
Have you been approached by the Kenya Kwanza government
You see, that is
to ensure
completely
that
immaterial.
its people?
You know, that's immaterial.
I would like also to hear, and Kenyans would like to.
That have been approached.
Yes, I think and your people to approach.
My people?
Yes, to be part of the
These
government.
are Kenyans.
Yes, they are Kenyans. Either way, they are leaders.
By the way, I must tell you this.
Yes.
When they come to those things, appointments under Public Service Commission, right? Like principal secretaries, they should not bring tribalism. Any qualified Kenyan, whether it's a Masai, Mkamba, Mturukana, Mukalenjin, should be interviewed for that, because these are jobs under the public service. But if they say, Wiper, bring Mutu, our appointed permanent secretary, cabinet I can understand. But those other public service jobs, that's how the French system worked. When during General de Gaulle's thing after the French Revolution, that what kept France going was the civil service. Now, if you politicize the civil service as they're trying to do, then you will have to face the consequences.
You say there is range. Are we likely, there was range, and everyone knows with the Gen Z protests, with the current state of affairs, are we likely to go back there, and now that you are the opposition leader, de facto opposition leader?
You see, if we don't have IBC, I've told you this, and it's blaming the victim, right? We are going to tell them, if there's no IBC, for sure, Kenyans will go to the streets. Already we're in breach of the Constitution. And we had given William Ruto the formula under NADCO on how to, because there should be boundaries review after every 12 years. Now we put it to, I think, 15 or 14 years. Now we would be, if they had passed the NADCO report as it was, with the numbers they had, which they used to impeach Gachagua, they should have used those numbers to implement the NADCO report. The country would not be in breach as we speak, Liz. Of our Constitution.
So after your ultimatum, then we go to
We'll go to the streets, for sure. Oh, even if I demonstrate alone, and I suspect that will be the demonstration for the year.
If they don't do that.
Yeah.
What are your plans for the new year? What is
And we
in the
said
offing?
we'll make announcements. We'll make announcements.
At least we can get a hint.
No.
leader.
I've told you about the State Capture Commission. Nimekupatia kamoja.
And that is
State Capture Commission. How Andani was capturing Kenya. He probably is still capturing. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I know very well I've taken your time, and it has been a good moment. Once again, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Your wishes for Kenyans before we go to the new year.
Merry Christmas and a prosperous, must be prosperous 2025, where you gain Kenyans your integrity, your sense of nationhood. You do not allow cartels to run your country, calling it a democracy. That is the year 2025. And God be with all of us.
Thank you so much once again. Happy birthday.
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate.
Thank
you so much for watching TV47. That has been a special interview with Wiper leader, His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. I'm Elizabeth Mutuku. Keep it TV47.